So, today we're going to talk about graphing an equation in standard form. Standard form, that's interesting because you haven't learned standard form yet. You've only learned, what's the form that you've learned? What's it called? Slope,
Intercept.
slope, intercept. That's the form that you've learned so far. So I'm actually going to write this down for just a second in your note because I think it's helpful to know this. There are two, actually I'll write it right here. There really are three, but I'm going to only say two right now. There are two often used, well, no, two useful ways, I'll just say it this way, to write equations. I'm going to say linear equations. Linear means straight line, okay? It doesn't mean any kind of a line, it means a straight line. Two ways. Number one is slope intercept. And that is, anybody remember the formula?
Y equals X over MX plus Y.
Plus B. Y equals mx plus b. M stands for your mountain slope, right? B stands for your Y-intercept. Yeah, B stands for your Y-intercept, right?
You're like waiting like
Well, I don't know, I can't ever think of anything that starts with a B that wouldn't sound like Y-intercept. But Y-intercept, okay.
Y-Intercept.
All right, so, and then the other one is standard form. Standard form, can you read this, okay? I'm writing kind of small. And it's like this, AX plus BY equals C. And an example, because the A would normally be a number, the B would be a number, and the C would be a number. The X and the Y would stay X and Y. So an example might be 2X plus 3Y equals 6. Okay?
Wait, why does the A have two Y's under it? Oh, never mind.
All right, those are the two useful ways that we're going to talk about of writing linear equations. There's another one called point-slope formula, and I used to always teach it, and I don't know if I will, because a lot of high school teachers don't let students use it.
Use slope
Don't make,
intercept?
yeah, no, point-slope form. So I'm thinking about not teaching it. Maybe I'll teach it next year, but not this year. I want you to. These are two ones that you have to know really, really well. Okay, you have to know both these formulas, this formula and this formula. Okay.
How would you do standard with that example?
Well, that's what we're actually. So right now, you guys all know how to graph slope-intercept, right?
Yeah.
If I said graph y is equal to 1/2 x minus 7, you guys would know what to do. You immediately go down 7, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and you put a dot there. And then from 7, where did I put the dot? Right there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Right there. And then from there, I rise 1 and I run 2. Rise 1, run 2, put a dot. Rise 1, run 2, put a dot. And I draw my line. You know that method. It takes you 10 seconds or less to graph, right? They're the easiest ones to graph by far. These are a little more complicated, but they're still quite easy. Yes?
I think I know the answer to the equation that you put under AX plus BY equals C.
The 2x plus 3y equals 6, what's
Yeah.
the answer?
X would equal 3 and Y would equal 0.
3.
Because 3 times 0 is 0.
That
2
would be
times
one.
3 is-
That would be one of an infinite number of possibilities.
Oh my.
Because there's
Because
one
you could
equation,
make 6
two
a lot of
variables.
different ways. You could do
Right.
2 times 1 plus 3 times, never mind.
You could have x be 0 and y be 2.
Yeah.
Right? You could have x be 3 and y be 0. And then there's an infinite number of other possibilities. That's why we draw a line.
2 to the first power plus 3 times 1.
Okay, great. Whatever. So we're going to show you, I'm going to show you how to graph these. But first, let's just talk about something for a second. We got 9:41. Okay. What is this point right here? That's what is the coordinate point?
Oh, it's 0, 1, 0, 1.
0, 1?
Yeah. Parentheses, 0, 1.
0, remember the x goes first, and it says 0 means you don't go anywhere. And then 1 means you go up y. So it's 0, 1, right? 0, 1. What is this one? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What's that one?
0, 5.
0, 5. What is this one? Let's see, that's 5. 1, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. What's this one?
0,
0, 10. Okay. That's interesting. What is this one? That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What's that one?
0, negative 6.
0, negative 6.
That's interesting. What's this one? 7, 8, 9, 10.
0, negative 10.
That's interesting. What's interesting about that? Ah! What? Who said that? Mira. How can you tell me that? Oh yeah, you're right. The first number is always 0. What does that mean?
It means you're not moving anywhere at all.
So wait a minute. Are you guys telling me that if a line crosses the y-axis at a point, then at that place where it crosses the y-axis, x is always 0?
Yeah.
Is that possible? Yes, it is totally possible. Look, it's totally possible. That's what it is. No matter how far up. When I get up, if I go up to 1,000,000 digits up there, it would still be 0, a million, right? Or a million down there, it's 0, negative a million, right? Always going to have the x is 0 if it is touching this y-axis. You guys all agree with me, right? Everybody's in agreement. Okay. Therefore, we can, to find a y-intercept, what could you do? Let me write an equation. Here's an equation. We'll use that equation right there. 2x plus 3y equals 6. I want to find where this line will cross the y-axis. And I have just discovered, or you guys helped me learn this, that x is always 0 when it crosses the y-axis. So how could I use that information on this? Mira.
So since it's 3y, y equals, x equals 0.
So you're saying to find my y-intercept, in other words, where this line crosses the y-axis, I am going to make x equal 0. Is that what you're saying?
Mm-hmm.
So okay. So I'm gonna rewrite my equation. 2x plus 3y equals 6. And I'm gonna replace my x with 0. So 2 times 0 plus 3y equals 6. What is 2 times 0? Let's see, 2, carry the 1, divide by, oh, it's 0, right. Okay, so 0 plus 3y is equal to 6. Do I need this 0 here? No, I can just get rid of it. Okay, so really it's just 3y equals 6. So what is y?
You have to divide you have to divide 3 from both sides.
Okay, so I get y is equal to what?
Y is equal to 2.
2. So really, what I'm saying is my y-intercept, y-intercept is 2. This says y is 2 when x is 0, right? I only got y equals 2 because I replaced the x with 0. So really, my y-intercept is 0, 2. You guys with me?
But then could you make a line if you, say you replace 2 and 0 with 1, and then you do 2 times 1 equals 2 plus 3y.
Wait, yeah, but hang on, just hang on there. All we're going to do is we are going to be finding our x-intercepts and our y-intercepts. We're going to create one line on the y-axis, one dot.
But could you?
You could, that would be using.
Could you make a cross line by
yes,
doing
and
that?
what is that process that you're talking about? You're basically talking about using a t-chart, right?
Yeah.
When x is 0, you can do this, right? X and Y, a T-chart.
Oh, I thought you said a teacher. I'm
Right?
like,
If X is 0, we figured out Y is 2. We could say if X is 1, we could plug it in and solve for Y, and Y is something, right? And if X were 2, we could plug the 2 in for the X and whatever. So that is a way, that's always a way to graph a line, right? You can always use this method unless I tell you not to, right? On a test, I will tell you, please use X and Y intercept method, right?
no, you could always use this.
Right.
Unless.
Unless I say
Unless
not
the intercept.
to. And so the reason I'm teaching this method, it's much faster. It doesn't seem like it right now,
But
but
you make a
in
line with
very, very soon, you're gonna see how you can do this very, very quickly, okay? So everybody agrees that my Y-intercept is 2. So can I go over here and just put a dot at 2? Yes, I can, because I can put a dot right there, because that doesn't make a line yet, right? That only gives me a dot for my Y-intercept. Now, I'm going to erase this. I hope everybody wrote that down. Find X, okay.
And so maybe you'll-
Now, I have a question. What is this point right here?
Two X.
2, comma,
0.
0. What is 2, 3, 4, 5? What's this one?
5, 0.
5, comma, 0. What's this one? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Negative 5, 0. Wow, that's interesting. What do we notice?
Same thing.
Whenever a line crosses the x-axis, what's 0?
Negative y. Second number.
Y is 0, right? The second number is y, because it always goes x, comma, y. The second number, the y is 0. So, to find my x-intercept, I make y equal to 0, right? So I'm going to rewrite my equation, 2x plus 3y equals 6. Now I'm going to change the y to a 0. 2x plus 3y, whoops, sorry, 3 times 0 is equal to 6. Oh, well that's going to be 2x plus 0 equals 6. Do I need the 0?
No.
I don't really need that, so I'm just going to say 2x is equal to 6. Oh, and then Skylar, what do I do now?
Then you divide.
Yes. Good job. So I got x is equal to 3, right? Which really means x is 3 when y is 0, right? So really it's a point 3 comma 0. Are you with me? That means my x-intercept is 3. So can I go over up to my x line, x-axis, and I go over to 3 and I put a dot?
Yeah.
Now what do I do? I make a line. I make a line. Boom. And then I put arrows on either side. And so Gideon said that he figured this one out. He said when he said you could make x 0 and make y 2. If x is 0, y is 2. But you could also make y 0 and x is 3. X is 3. Or you can do this point here, or this point here, or this point, any point on this line. There's an infinite number of points on that line that would satisfy that equation. That's what a graph is. It shows you all the possibilities, forever and ever and ever and ever. All the possibilities, okay? So, yes, question.
Are we going to be working with three-dimensional charts this year, like X, Y, and Z?
Probably not. We could at some point, but if you remind me a little later on.
We could do like X, we could do
We could do that.
Star Trek algebra.
Because that is typical, that's typically algebra 2. That's something you do in algebra 2, but it's still totally worth it. So, let's just look at what we did here. And then let's see if we can shorten the method, okay? We decided that to find the y-intercept, in other words, that point where our line, this line, crosses the y-axis, we made this 0, right? Well, what is this number times 0? It's 0. It's always 0. So look what I could do. To find the y-intercept, I cover up the x. I just made x 0. I don't need it. So I just has 3y equals 6. So what is the y-intercept? It's 2. So y is 2, right? Y-intercept is 2. All right. Now to find the x-intercept, I make y 0. I cover that up, right? 2x equals 6 divided by 2, x equals 3, right? So 2 and 3. Boom. Very, very quick. So let's try a few and see if we can do them kind of quickly. And then I'm going to pass out the boards if we have time. Maybe I should just pass out the boards now.
Gary, I have a question.
Yeah.
Does that mean that to graph that correctly, we would actually go up 2 over 3? Like do the rise over run, have the rise be 2, run be 3? Like to graph it correctly?
To graph
Like,
it,
just make it a straight line across?
all I'm doing is connecting the dots.
I know, but what I'm asking is like if you combined the x and y intercept, would it like just go up 2 and then go over 3?
This is a really good question. This is a really good question. So he's saying, but we said the x-intercept was 3, right? And then the y-intercept was 2. So could you say 3 comma 2? No. Because think about it, what it was. This is when y is 0. This is 3 comma 0. And this is 0 comma 2. Yeah. Right? Right? That's the points we're plotting. We're not plotting this. This would be out in the middle of nowhere. That would be up here. And that wouldn't be on the line. See what I'm saying? It's really, that's why it's so important to think about it. Realize that when you get an x equals 3, it's only when y is 0. Therefore, it is your x-intercept. That's why I write x-intercept instead of x equals 3. I write x-intercept is 3, or y-intercept is 2. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so I thought
That was a great question. That was a great question. Thank you for asking. All right, really quickly, let's do one more. 4x minus 2y is equal to 12. Okay, would you guys agree with me that to find my x-intercept, I could make y 0? So I could cover up the negative 2y, right? 4x equals 12. What is my x-intercept?
3.
It's 3. Divide both sides by 4, it's 12 divided by 4 is 3. All right, to find my y-intercept, what would, now look, it's got negative sign. I can't cover up the negative sign because it's negative 2y. So what is my y-intercept? Is that what you said, Skylar? Yeah. Negative 6? That is correct. Negative 6. That negative is really important. So immediately I can go on my x-axis, I go to 3. And on my y-axis, I go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I put a dot, and I draw my line. Boom.
How did we get to that?
And I'm done.
I was busy writing the equation while you were doing that.
Oh, okay. What I said is to find my x-intercept, I make y 0. Which means I, with my hand, physically cover up the y, the minus 2y. And I have 4x equals 12. Divide by side by 4, x is equal to 3. Now watch this, to find my x-intercept. So watch this get in. To find my x-intercept, to find my y-intercept, sorry, I'm going to make my x 0. So I'm going to literally physically cover it up. And on your paper, you'll use your finger, not your hand, because it's tiny, right? So, and then I have to divide both sides by negative 2, which would be negative 6, right?
Okay.
That negative is really important that you keep track of that. Okay, so let's quickly, we have about 7 minutes. Let's pass out the boards really fast and the markers really fast.
Would it be, what would happen if you, instead of making the x or y the 0, what would happen if you made say a 2 or 3? And what would happen? Like, would it be a valid equation or would it be faulty?
Say that again?
If you, instead of making your x and y 0, what if you made it say a 2 or a 3? Then, well, yeah.
Can somebody do the markers? Let's do them really fast though. No pickiness, right? We just want to use some
No
time.
pickiness. What do
Too
you?
bad, no pickiness.
Doesn't matter what color it is. All right, draw a line between 5 and 6, all the way up and down.
So what are we doing?
Yeah.
Wait, dude, I need new markers.
I have to
Do it during
Ian, his marker's out.
Oh, okay.
Does everybody have one?
That's a bit of class.
Oh, wow.
Ask the class, I'll figure it out.
He's the one who, he's